Welcome back, students. Here is Project 5, GSV Scumble Velatura. This time we're going to focus on scumble. So scumbling is the idea of dragging light opaque paint across the surface. So that's what we're going to do. It usually is best for highlights and areas where you want to really bring the paint out and forward. It's going to sit on top. And I'm holding the brush more parallel to the canvas so that when I go and I scrub it across that part of the can or up here on the face of the skull, it is going to put paint on the peaks and not down in the valleys. I'm not pushing super hard. I'm almost like trying to tickle or just very lightly touch the surface so that you have just a little bit of paint going down. And if I decide that I need more paint, I can go back to that area and add some more and drag it and maybe put a little bit of pressure. So less is more. Don't go overboard. We're not trying to completely change how it looks. We're trying to make it look a little more accurate, have a little bit more light into it. So we're adding to it, not painting it over. Velatura and glaze are where you can go through and completely change something. This is much more just trying to add a little teeny bit. So you'll notice that I'm kind of popping around the skull and adding a little bit, and I might go back to that area and add a little bit again, but I'm not scrubbing the paint and pushing it right into all the cracks and crevices and trying to cover it up. I'm trying to really specifically just add a little bit of a highlight. So here's the highlight on the bottle, and I'm pulling that brush very lightly across the surface, trying to just get a little bit. So here's maybe a little bit of a scrub because I want to fill that area in on that label. But then when I'm doing these highlights, I'm just barely scraping the surface. And this doesn't have to take very long. Less is more. Don't overdo it. I might go back to an area if I want to pop it out just a little bit more. I'm going to do a little bit more on the skull, maybe a little touch up on the can. The areas where you want the paint to stand out, where you want a little extra. So I'm going over here to the cheekbone, letting that get a little bit thicker. I'll add a little bit more and then I'll pull it away. So as I pull across, I'm also pulling up and away with my brush. And that way you can see the texture as you go through and pull away. And it gives you a nice kind of visual blending of the value on top with the value underneath. So it's a way to kind of blend and have paint sit up on top. So here is our final painting. This is what it looks like now. We saw it in class today. And just a zoom in view, notice the texture on the back of the skull or on the edges and on the sides. There's extra texture, and it's because I'm not pushing 100% down with my brush. I'm pulling it across the surface. Good luck. See you next time.